It's really my pleasure. Hi, everyone. My name is Tippy Missick, and I live in Massachusetts, USA. Shout out. I started wearing these patches back a year ago, February, and I was just blown away immediately at the difference in how I felt. But for me, the real important part of this whole story is back in 2005, I had liver failure from a surgery that went terribly wrong. And when you have liver failure, all your organs have a tendency to start to shut down. And reality was I was facing my deathbed. But being blessed as I was, after 6 or 7 more open abdominal surgeries, I was able to recuperate and get back. But since then, my blood work had never been the same. My liver enzymes were always high. My kidney enzymes were high. My cholesterol was never below 350 since 2005. But since wearing the patches, I wear the Flow, Defend, Liberty, and Flow, Defend, Liberty, Flow, Defend. And there's one more, Peace. And since then, I went 3 weeks ago and had my blood work done. And my cholesterol is now 199. All my blood work is within the normal range, right smack dab in the middle of that green. And my doctor, who's been following me all these years, just couldn't believe it. She had to know what was going on, and she loves the patches for herself, too.
Well, that's, I just can't even imagine, having to go through something like that. And yeah, the liver is, that's the cleaner, right? So,
Yes.
And when the surgery goes wrong and all those things, and here you are saying that, you haven't used any drugs. You've used these patches, and I mean, that's what we're, that's why we're doing this. We need people to know what this is doing for people. So I do truly appreciate you sharing your story. You're going to inspire a lot of people to, take a look at these and try them out for themselves. So thank you so much for jumping on.
Jim had recently been discharged from Loma Linda from a massive brain tumor removal that occupied the left side of his brain. We had gotten home and got a call from Kenny Gilmore, a friend of ours, who said that he had something that he felt that would help Jim a lot. So we went ahead and ordered the patches and received them. And the first night, I had put 2 patches on, three, and Jim had put 5 patches on based on, the issues. And the next morning, we both had woke up and I wasn't feeling too hot. And Jim said his mind was racing. So we called Kenny, and Kenny got on a 3-way call with Steve, with Jim and him and Kenny. And he said, what you need to do is have Brenda put 1 on and Jim wear 2. So we did that the following night, and woke up the next morning and walked down the hall, and Jim asked how I was doing. And I said, well, I think I'm at a 3 on my pain level. I hadn't been below a 5, even on narcotics, ever been below a 5 in 40 years. So I was at a 3. And Jim goes, okay, let's try this again. The following day, I walked down the hallway and he asked how I was doing. And I said, I'm at a 0. I didn't know how to respond to that because I hadn't been at a 0 in a very long time. So we tried it again another night and woke up the next day. Jim asked me, how are you doing? I said, I'm still at a 0. Yep. So we went up until 7 days trying this, and it was consistent 0 every day. So after that, that was all it took for us to understand and believe that this was working for us. And then we were excited after that point.
And we wanted to thank Jay.
Jay, yes, thank you for this technology, because I thought I was just going to have to live and suffer for the rest of my life in pain. And I finally got my miracle prayer answered. So thank you.
I like making my podcast. I don't like making short clips of my podcast. So the AI chooses the best clips, like maybe this one.
Right now?
Yeah, because it knows what's important. And it actually gives you a score based on how well your clip is going to connect with your audience.
That's Oh, cool.
And it also reframes us to vertical depending on the platform. So in fact, if there were 4 of us, it would do that too. It might do 20 or 30 of these.
Wow.
You see these animated captions?
Yeah.
They're automatic. You just set the style, but it's automatically transcribed.
That's crazy. Does it have any editing capabilities in case you want to tweak things?
Yeah, so there's an online editor right over here, and you can edit using the timeline or this transcript-based editor right here. And you can actually upload your own images or video and drag them onto the timeline.
That is a lot of features.
Many of them are one click, like audio enhancements, AI-generated B-roll. It bleeps your curse words if you need that. Right?
I think the AI is definitely going to choose this clip. This is crazy.
All we had to do was talk about it, and Opus Clip does the rest, and then you just schedule it from right here.
Wow, I pay $30 every month just for a scheduler.
Well, right now, Opus Clip is just $14.50, the Pro plan.
I know many of you think I'm AI. I'm not AI, but this is AI. Maybe in the future I'll get to work less. I'm gonna try to create myself in my outfit today, but Pixar style. So I'll call it Helena Pixar and start describing my features and outfit. Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead with this one. And let's create character. And now it's done, let's see how it turned out. These are really aesthetic generations, the character is consistent, and the outfit is correct. We can also use different types of references with the character, put that image in a composition reference, and we're gonna get all these cool shots with the composition just like the reference image. And I'm gonna make a composition reference by taking a selfie. I got it, let's try to use this image. Even better, we can make the character move on OpenArt. Create your first character for free as an OpenArt subscriber.
And when you guys told me that story last night, it literally brought tears to my eyes. And I'm just like, to be able to help people in that fashion, in a drug-free manner, it's like, come on, you guys. Somebody put a price tag on that. And the thing is, we're not asking anybody to spend any more money. You know, Brenda and Jim, the money that you guys were spending on drugs to offset your pain, it's not even close to what you're going to pay here with these patches.
Yeah, no, exactly. And with the government, with their crackdown on the narcotics, I was forced into detox 2 years ago.
Oh.
My name was drawn, and I'll be 2 years in May. It'll be on my 2-year anniversary, and I was still in just as much pain until the patches.
You guys, thank you. Thank you for sharing that story, and you guys are sharing it with a lot of people right now. I know you're building a big organization of people, because how in the world can you not tell people that story, right?
Exactly.
You guys are the best. Thank you for sharing. Nicole, jump in here. Nicole Ashley, jump in here.
All right. Okay. Just for people who think, oh, this is just for people who have an issue, I just want you to know it's a super preventative, awesome for keeping your brain stronger and healthier. It's like a fountain of youth if it's going to continue. So it's great for everyone. But I just wanted to celebrate my story, being sick for over 25 years with an autoimmune illness, bedridden for a lot of days. So when people say, well, Nicole, if you would watch your, change your diet and exercise and do this and do that, you'll get better. But when you're bedridden and you have very little energy even to go for a walk, this is the best tool in the toolbox to give you. When I was on Liberty, after 6 weeks, the brain fog I lived with for most of my life, feeling like you're hungover every day or like you've got the flu, let's say, that's what I lived like. My life was like I had the flu almost every day. Some days better than others. But, today's I'm excited because, I was up early in the morning, running my mother and father-in-law to appointments, running here, running there, walking here, running there, come home, exercise in the pool, do all that, and still have energy for the call and still have energy for the evening. I'll be 62 next month. And I feel like I'm a late bloomer. I'm finally going to live life the way God created me to live it. So I just want to say, hey, this is a great tool. If you need a little help to get the energy you need to do the things to get you moving. If you know of anybody who's having a hard time moving to get the results that they want, that this is an amazing tool. Thank you.
62 years old. You are just getting started, young lady.
I'm just getting started. Yeah, next month. Yeah.
Shelly's on. Jump in here, darling. Jump in here, Shell.
Okay, well, I just raised my hand for Lori Bassman because she doesn't know how to do that on Zoom. And she's like killing it in this business right now. So, Lori, you want to let Lori talk?
Wait a minute.
Lori, jump in here.
Okay, I'm going to try to make this quick, but I have to read some of it. Last week, I went to my niece's house to practice on her kids. And her son had knee surgery, and one of the complications or whatever afterwards is he developed tendonitis, and he's been going to a physical therapist. And I believe he's 18. And he couldn't squat down and get back up without like grabbing onto something to help him up. Mm-hmm. So my practice on him was the Liberty patch with the strength and stability and his eyes got big and he was like, wow, and he could squat and get back up. So, but he still had pain. So I guinea pigged him with a freedom patch and I said, why don't you let this work for a little bit and see if it does anything for your pain? Well, he could only wait 5 minutes and he squatted back down, got back up, and he had less pain. And then 30 minutes later, he came back and he said, I have no pain. Well, today I was down there because my niece is a nurse practitioner and she was trying to wrap her head around this. Well, like if my son uses this pain patch, is he going to do too much and then hurt himself? So what she did was she contacted the physical therapist, and I'm just going to kind of read her text to me. It said, this is her comment to the physical therapist. Did my son tell you he squatted at a normal height, chair height, with very little pain for the first time in 10 weeks and was able to get up? This is the physical therapist's response. He showed me. It's similar basis to kinesio tape, which just lifts the skin, gently gives proprioceptive feedback. If that feedback from the texture is enough to confuse neural pathways and he feels better, so be it. It doesn't hurt him. Use it so long as he feels better. My niece is very, very excited, and her son is going to be coming into the business tonight or tomorrow. And he started writing down people's names and people that he wanted to share this with, fellow buddies that are in sports that want to improve their athletic performance. His sister is being recruited by colleges for volleyball, and I had her wear some at a meet last week, and her performance was better than it had been before, which is amazing. So I'm just excited about this. I just don't think that the physical therapist understands that it's not confusing the neural pathways. It's helping them communicate to make a situation better. So thank you. And now I'm going to mute myself.
I've got a coworker. He's 40 years old and he's had nystagmus since he was born. And nystagmus is when the eyes go back and forth and you look at him, he looks kind of wild-eyed. When they do a drug test, or a drunk test, they check your eyes like that and they're looking to see if they bounce. Well, his bounced back and forth all the time. And so the other day I put a patch on him and then I realized I should have demoed him first. So I took the patch off and demoed him and he was blown away by it. So I put a patch on him and less than an hour later, he messaged me and said the nystagmus had stopped. And I talked to him at the end of the day, and his field of vision was very limited, and now he's got more peripheral vision, and he's doing much better. And I think it was the next day, he didn't have a patch on. He was driving to work, and he was sitting at a stoplight, and his eyes were going crazy. And so he popped a patch on, and it instantly stopped.
I know.
And he's been dealing with this since birth.
And Randy, I'm telling you, that's why I said at the very beginning, you guys, this sounds unbelievable. It does sound unbelievable. And it sounds a little bit silly. It's like, oh, these guys are on this Zoom talking about these patches. They don't have anything else. Come on. It's like, you guys, it's a real deal. Because when we can offer people drug-free solutions for all of these things that we've been talking about, that's world-changing. That is moving the needle in a direction that no other company's ever done before, except Big Pharma. Big Pharma says, take this, and then you have all these side effects, and people are like, well, it relieved the pain. Yeah, but it's doing other things to your body. We can help relieve the pain and help your body.
Oh my gosh. Let me just first start with that Ignite patch. I started using it 3 weeks ago, and I'm already down 9 pounds. We've had Christmas and Boxing Day in there and New Year's, and I wasn't sitting on the couch not eating. I was sitting on the couch eating, and 9 pounds in 3 weeks, and that patch is not coming off.
Are you saying you didn't do anything else different except wear that?
I did absolutely nothing else different. In fact, yeah, I actually did. I ate more. I had the cookies. I had the stuffing. I had the cake. I had some wine. But I didn't exercise. So
That is
it's
my kind of diet. I am
right, right.
Quickly, so my mom we just brought mom home out of the hospital yesterday after 3.5 weeks, and she had some severe gallbladder problems and gallstones. And they elected not to do surgery because my mom is going to be 91 in March. She's a 19-year lung cancer survivor who only has 1.5 lungs. And so she was in a lot of excruciating pain over this, and got her to the hospital, and they elected to put a drain into her gallbladder, which she's going to have to live with now the rest of her life, which is probably going to be another 15 years. And, she, so the one night when I was there, she was really complaining. She was she was more than usual. She's getting out of breath. And so I said to mom, I said, are they putting your patches on here? She says, oh, they won't put patches on here. They don't know what they are. They're not, they're not allowed to. I said, well, I guess then I'm going to be putting them on. So, because we did send them with her. So put the Defend patch on her. And then she uses the REM patch at night. But the thing was, if any of you have been in the hospital, those nice red socks that have the little rubbery bottoms on them so that you don't slip on the floor and stuff like that. And my mom's legs had really started to swell up. And I said, Mom, I says, I'll be back tomorrow. I says, we're going to fix this. And I brought a couple of the Vox Tread socks with me. And those of you who don't know what they are, look them up because they're great. They're like a wellness sock, but they've got the rubber knobbies on the bottom. And put those socks on her the very next day. And the following day, when I went back to see her, I would say that her swelling was down by half. And even the one nurse wanted to know all about, she says, like, what are these? Like, she says, like, your mom is walking back and forth to the washroom and doing her physical therapy just so much more easily than she was before. So I gave her the information, and I just said, you just make sure that I got 3 pairs of socks here. You just make sure that one of these pairs of socks is on her all the time. I said, I don't want to see any more of those red socks. And, I credit that with, getting her back home yesterday, and even at home now, she's moving better. And the swelling's almost, at this point, the swelling in her legs is almost all gone. That's it.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Paul, thank you so much for that. My goodness, what a great story that is.
Okay, so you guys, I went to dinner as I normally do. And I'm with friends, North Dallas area. And we're sitting there, and in comes Randy Travis with his wife and a couple of the family members. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't fangirl over anyone other than country music artists. I'm like, I got to get my picture. And on top of that, I knew his health was deteriorating. I knew he had the stroke. And I'm like, Steve and I, literally, when we were in Nashville, we were talking to each other. We're like, how do we get this on Randy Travis? How do we get this to people like him? And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh. Okay. So anyway, I'm like, he's right here. He's like, I sent Steve a selfie where you could just see him behind me. I'm like, he's right there. And I went over and spoke to him and was kind, and I still just didn't want to demo him. Y'all know me. I am like as bold as it gets. I demo everyone. Okay. But I was like, it feels kind of weird. He's kind of important. And so I walked outside, and the whole time I'm sitting there like, okay, you got to go in, you got to go in, you got to go in. I get this feeling of just go in. And my friend said, go in and get the picture. My husband's still talking to them. I was like, okay, I'm going to go in and get the picture. And that's my moment. So I get a selfie with him, and I said, listen, I would be doing you a disfavor if I did not share with you something that is absolutely life-changing and could help you. Y'all, his wife allowed me to demo her. They asked me a ton of questions. And this is interesting. When I mentioned the way that Jay started all of this, because his mom having MS, immediately Randy says, oh my gosh, I've got to tell Clay Walker, he has MS. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so incredible. And it's just going to spread out, right? And so I said, can I demo you? And he is in a wheelchair, and he completely cannot use this right arm. So my brain's already going, I have demoed people in a wheelchair before. And I know some of you have asked me to show you how to do that. So I am going to make a video for you. But I said, okay, we could do this. And the whole time, Steve, I'm still trying to decide, am I just as certain in these patches? And I am, and I know they work. So he takes his left hand and puts it right here. And I just push down with my right arm, and I move him forward naturally. Okay. Then I put the victory patch on him, because that's what I had. I was out of all my lifter. I put the victory patch on him, and I could not move him. And he said a word that I'm not going to say out loud on here, but they were amazed. And this is going to change his life. So you guys tell people that if people like him can do it, and if I can demo someone like him and be brave enough, I mean, you can demo your neighbor, you can demo anyone, but y'all, this is about to go huge. They're going to use the patches for a few days. I'm going to be in touch with them, but don't ever think that you can't just come up to someone. Everyone needs what we have. And Steve, I'm still blown away.
Yeah, the phone call that I got from Carrie last night when she demoed Randy Travis was, I mean, I know she walked into the restaurant, but I know you floated out. But when you have somebody the caliber of Randy Travis, and you completely blew his family away to the point where they invited you to their home today. That tells you something about what we have, you guys. And when Randy Travis automatically thinks of his country brother, Clay Walker, and some of you know country star Clay Walker, who has MS as well. Randy says, we got to get this to Clay Walker. And that's how everybody thinks. When you see this here tonight, I hope you were thinking of your friends who need this technology. We all know people who need what we have to offer.
They're gonna love my resume, but I gotta find the right word. Not synergy, cahoots. Ugh, I need a little help. Oh yeah, I can just hit up Acrobat AI Assistant. What's a better way to say, let a bunch of teams? Cross-functional, that's it. And done. Thanks for the cross-functional teamwork, AI Assistant.
Hoping that it would help some of the pain that I have pain on all different levels, but what I noticed the most that it helped with is my fibromyalgia.
Yes.
And I was taking heavy duty narcotics, and it still didn't really help with the fibromyalgia, but the tech did. So I wear the socks or I wear the patch, and on really bad days, I wear both, and they seem to work even better together.
And there's not a day that you're taking those off, is it?
Nope.
And
I now sleep in socks.
Eileen Schwartz, jump in here.
Hey, Steve.
How are you?
Good. So I've been dealing with not being able to get knee surgery for other reasons, but I've had pain in my right knee, which needs a replacement, for minimum 2.5 years, minimum. And I mean like constant, whether I'm sitting, standing, sleeping at night would wake me up. I have zero. Unless I'm walking on it and it grinds, that's the only time I have any problem with my knee, but I don't feel it when I'm sitting, and it doesn't wake me up at night at all. It's gone. And that's from the Freedom Patch. It's amazing.
No drugs, no stimulants, no supplements, no electricity, just that pattern sending that message to your brain that says relieve pain.
Yep. And I had one of my guys at my group the other night was wearing his patch, and he's like, oh, look, I have my patch on. So that started a whole conversation about patches. And we had a gentleman who's in his 80s, let's just say kind of mid 80s. And he's like, I want to try that thing. I want to try it. And he's really unstable. And he stood up, and I said, okay, well, let's test you first. And tested him, and of course came right over. And I put the patch on him, and I could not budge him. Could not budge him. And he did this little jig dance around the room. It was, I wish I would have had it on video because it was phenomenal, but he was so excited. So I'll follow up with him this week, but yeah, just incredible.
It truly is life changing.
It is.
Truly life changing. Lori O'Brien, jump in here.
Hello. I had a friend use the Defend patch last week who has a lung disease, and she watches her oxygen levels regularly. And the next morning she woke up because I had put the Liberty, Defend, and a Freedom patch on her. And she woke up the next morning telling me how great she felt. Her oxygen level was at 99%. The following day, when she didn't have any patches, she told me how crappy she felt.